Bush here. Just wanted to let you know that we are going to start this podcast, and it's going to be a very informative situation. And the reasons that I think you should pay attention to us is, one, I'm a long-term resident of Ellis County, been here for 58 years, know just about everybody and anybody that's in the real estate business, been doing real estate and helping people succeed in that venture for years and years and years. And we're going to bring on lots of guests and influencers and people that can help you understand why do I buy real estate? You know, I think it gets into one of those avenues where people don't understand really, you know, why should I do it? Why should I invest in real estate versus investing in other things such as stocks and bonds and things like that? And, you know, here's what we know, is we know for the last 48 months, the value of property in Ellis County has increased by anywhere from 0.5% to 1% every month for 48 months. So go out and show me any other investment that's done that for you. It hasn't. So thinking about real estate, even if it's your homestead, it's just the house that you're going to live in. Everybody's got to have a home, and it's got to go over your head. You know, you go back and you look at it, you bought it 5 years ago, and look at the value of it today. You know, it's amazing to me what's happened in this 5-year period in our cool little county that we're all living in now. You know, I would think that if you'll take the time to learn this and learn a little bit about what real estate is and what it means to you and your family down the road, it's the greatest investment in the world. They're not making any more of it. It's always going to be here, and we're always going to increase in value. Even if the little thing that these people call a bubble, which I don't believe is a bubble, even if it pops a little bit, you're so much further ahead than where you were when you started that it'll never go back. So guys, you know, I'm going to bring on guests that can talk to you, and then influencers in Ellis County that understand, that have, you know, different avenues of way they can help you invest. We're going to bring in people that can tell you why to invest. We're going to bring in people that can tell you, you know, from a standpoint of the city and the politics of why it's good to invest. And so we want you to be a part of what we're doing, and we want to help educate you in the manner that real estate is something that makes good sense to you. So that's what we're going to do. We're looking forward to you guys coming in and hanging out with us.
Hi, my name is Caitlin Bush with Mid-America Mortgage Southwest here in Midlothian. Whether you are purchasing a home or refinancing, we are here to help you every step of the way. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or you've done the purchasing process multiple times before, we treat our customers like family here at Mid-America Mortgage Southwest, and we will walk you through every step of the way to make this transaction as smooth as possible. You can reach me at 214-598-7839 or send an email to kbush@mamsw.com.
Kurth with the Better Together Realty Group. We are powered by eXp, and we are your local experts. We are right here in Ellis County. Our office is in Midlothian, and we are here to serve you with all of your real estate needs. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or maybe an empty nester or anywhere in between, we can help you with the purchase and the sale of any property. And we also help investors grow their portfolios as well as manage their properties for them. So we are truly full-service real estate right here in Ellis County. We would love to help serve you or anyone that you know reach their home goals. You can reach my whole team at 972-246-8297. You can call or text that number. You can always email us at team@bettertogetherrg.com, or you can stop by our office right here in Midlothian.
First, welcome Richard here to our first episode of Keeping It Real with Kent. So what we're going to do is, you know, just kind of have a quick conversation about, you know, why you decided to come to Midlothian, why you decided to do the Ellis County deal, and you know, we're excited to have you. You know, I know you've been very, very active in the community for a long time. So my first question to you is really simple. You know, is why did you choose Ellis County?
Back in the early 90s, we were living up in North Dallas, and we had 3 young kids, one in kindergarten and 2 in elementary. And we knew we wanted to get out of that North Dallas corridor. I worked for myself, so we could live any place. and I looked at an hour away from DFW because I traveled a lot back then. Well, then my father's wife passed away, and we decided to combine families. And he was a World War II severely wounded in the war and went to the VA hospital.
Oh, wow.
So we wanted to be within driving distance of the VA hospital.
Right.
So we put down what we wanted, we're looking for, and Ellis County popped up as being the prime area to look in. And we looked at Waxahachie, we looked at Midlothian, the schools, the fit. We had 6 people living in one house, so
Wow.
we found the perfect house there.
Yeah.
We liked the community. Dad worked in downtown Dallas his whole career life, and he knew the Lawsons.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he
interesting.
was an office supply. So
Oh.
he knew the Lawsons,
Yeah.
and he knew other people here. So it was a good fit for us. We found the perfect home. And the schools, of course, was a huge thing.
Right.
And everything fell into place and said Midlothian is the place to be.
Wow.
And
For,
so
yeah, for you guys that don't know, I mean, the Lawsons are a longtime family. I mean, they've owned property here
Yeah.
forever. Lawson's Farm, where, you know, most of the real estate that's happened in the last few years has been built, you know. So, wow, that's incredibly interesting. I would not have thought
was.
that. Yeah.
And so it was easy to integrate into the community. Now, back then, we had, what, 7,500 people?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, we moved here in
Yeah.
96.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
That's so cool. So you were here, you brought your family here, you brought your kids here, you grew them up, and you said, okay, at some point in time, why did you choose to become a public servant?
Again, a series of events. We didn't officially come into the city until 17.
Okay.
So we were part of that last annexation.
Right.
So we're in Lake Grove, just
Right.
real near the community park. Bill Houston, the former mayor, had to step down for personal reasons.
Right.
Later, we found out was his health. And,
Right,
You know,
right.
And so there was a special election, and there weren't. Well, at one point, there really wasn't anybody signed up. And in front of the wrong people, I said, "Well, I'll run for mayor." They would laugh me out, and they all took me up on
That's
it.
what that you don't go to the meeting and you get signed up for
Yeah,
mayor.
there you go. But I grew up in Richardson, and Richardson went from 2,500 people to a high school with cotton fields
Right.
to 4A 25,000 people in 9 years.
Wow.
So I'd been through this growth before. And I thought there were things I could bring to the table
Right.
that would be useful with that experience
Yeah.
of Dallas, the Metroplex growing
Right.
back in the late 50s, early 60s, you know.
So, as being mayor for what, almost
2.5 years.
2.5 years, yeah. So I mean, what have you done? What have you accomplished that you feel really good about?
Well, I think there's a lot that we in the council we have done. We were able to put the Lawson buildings back into play.
Right.
Right now, we're negotiating. The city bought the Lawson buildings, and then we put it out for bid, and we had about 11 people bid.
Oh, wow.
And we narrowed it down to 3 and 4 people that we interviewed, and then we picked one person to develop the property. So we're going to give it back to the private sector.
Oh, nice.
We got it just so we could get it back. It'd been empty for like 15 years.
Oh yeah, at least, yeah.
So within end of next year, the Lawson buildings will be open.
Wow.
So, and that's
Yeah.
going to be a big, it's part of the downtown master plan.
Right.
As I came in, the downtown master plan was finished. So really,
Right.
it was finished by the council before mine.
Prior to you, yeah.
We just approved it.
Right.
With all the hard work. So we had a downtown master plan. Lawson's a big part of that.
Right.
Then this last time, we had a bond election for the Public Safety Center, roads, City Hall, and a rec center.
Oh, nice.
And all 4 of those passed.
Right.
And $130 million, and that's a big chunk of how we're going to develop the city.
Nice.
Midlothian has been discovered.
Right.
Our 4A, we're attracting now commercial businesses and all. So there's a
Right.
lot of things that are being attracted here
Okay.
that many people
So,
work
so a
on.
lot of people out there might not understand when you use the term 4A,
4A.
what you're talking about. So maybe give them just a brief.
There's 2 boards that were commissioned by the state, at the state level that the city approved, we take 1% of the sales tax and 1 cent and split it between 2 boards.
Gotcha.
4A is the Economic Development Corporation. They are charged to help improve the economic conditions of a community.
Gotcha.
4B is a Community Development Corporation, and this is not stated technically correct, but
Gotcha.
Quality of life issues.
Right.
To help the city
Right.
do different things. And
Right.
they have a lot of latitude.
Right.
And so right now, they're both receiving about $3 million a year of income, and they put that back into the community.
Man, that's
so
awesome.
4A is here to help us grow economically,
Yeah.
and 4B is here to help us grow as a community.
Gotcha.
And they contribute to these different projects.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
for you guys that don't know where the Lawson buildings are, it's 7th Street, which is, just behind us. We're here at Woodrow's right now, which is a great venue we're having a great time with, and we appreciate you inviting us in and letting us use this.
Anytime, please.
Yeah. And so, but it's a couple streets over. It's the big green building that has the thing that everybody thinks a snake is on top of, which is really the very first cobble that ever happened at Chaparral Steel. So a lot of people don't know that either, right? Yeah.
No, there's a lot of good lore in there.
Yeah. So so a lot of interesting. We can go deep. We can get down there, but first and foremost, Richard, I want to make sure that everybody understands that we appreciate the fact that you will spend your time and serve our community. I mean, people have been begging me for years to do it, and I'm like, I'd love to, but life's just always got my way, and I appreciate the fact that you've taken that and made that do that. So if somebody was looking and they said, hey, I'm going to move out of Richardson, or wherever, right, and come to Ellis County, tell me why you believe that Ellis County is the place they should be.
Well, to me, Ellis County is a perfect place to raise your family and to live your life, whatever stage you're in, if you're single, married. It's a great place, community. There's a lot of good things here. Now, we're small, and so we're still growing. We don't have every service, but we have. And you come to Ellis County if you want to be a true Texan.
There you go.
Yeah, that's why you come to Ellis County. There's something about Texas, and I want it, and Ellis County offers that. The various cities we have here, we all have different personalities.
Right.
So you can find a good place to fit whatever you want, but you need to have those true Texas root values.
Outstanding.
And we have it. Waxahachie in us.
Right.
We all do that.
That's awesome. Yeah.
But differently.
Yeah, and of course, I've been in Ellis County for a long time.
Yeah.
We're going on 58 years now. So
Your whole life, right?
Yeah, my whole life. Yeah, and so and I believe in all that, and I believe that's why people should come here. I believe that we have really great leadership down here. I've always been interested in the idea of what happens within the political realm here, but I've also always been, a little leery of being a part of it. And I appreciate the fact that you stepped up and took that onto your shoulders, and because and Bill, our previous mayor, Bill was a good friend of mine. He is a good friend of mine.
He put a lot of time and work into that.
Yeah. And I can remember you and I having a conversation before you started, and I asked you, and I don't know if you remember this, but I asked you a question. I said, you realize it's a 40-hour-a-week job that doesn't pay, right?
Yeah, I was hoping it'd be just 20 hours. But, but one thing about Midlothian, but I think it's true of the county. My dad's family is from East Texas.
Gotcha. Okay.
And you move to a small East Texas town, it takes you a while to be accepted.
Absolutely.
Maybe a couple of generations.
Sure. Yeah.
But I find in Midlothian here and the whole county, you'll be accepted and you'll be part of the community, and it's not like that was my concern moving here.
Right.
That we're going to come to that small town if you didn't grow up here. So we were readily accepted, and I see people move here from all over, and they integrate into the community.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, because of course I've been dealing with the real estate business for years around here, and I've had a numerous amount of agents that have been working with me as part of my partnership, and it's interesting that some of the ones that have done the very best are ones that didn't grow up here.
Yeah.
I had a great agent that moved in from Ohio and knew the only person she knew was her husband. Within 3 or 4 years, she was one of the top real estate agents and it was because of what you're saying,
Yeah.
is that people accept you. You become a
accept you.
part of the community and things,
Yeah,
and that's,
that's right.
I think that's a big deal. So, yeah.
But on the same token, there are a lot of former Midlothian High School graduates that live here.
Yeah.
Which speaks well for the community. A lot of people come home.
Yeah, as of course, my wife and I both graduated here.
Yeah.
And
And
so
your
we're-
daughter is
and both my daughters.
Yeah.
And so we're pretty diehard, Ellis County, Midlothian people, right? But when I look back at it, and I do look at that, and and every time I go somewhere in town to a restaurant or whatever, I always see somebody I went to high school with.
Yeah.
They may have been a freshman or they may have been a senior when I was a freshman, but you always see people that do that. So, it's interesting how much the roots are here, and I think that's a big deal. I think that makes the community stay humble,
Yeah.
but also they're progressive enough to understand that we're going to grow.
Yeah, and that's been challenging, but people realize
Yeah,
the growth here, and the growth is good. And
Yeah.
you drive around,
yeah,
and that's the big challenge is we're in this pivot from an older Midlothian to the future Midlothian. And,
right,
commercials starting to come here now.
Right.
Kyle's with 4B, and homes are coming here, so
yeah. I mean, you put in Google and some places like that. I mean, that's a big deal.
that's a big deal, very big deal.
And we'll go down this. Maybe we'll have another conversation down the road somewhere that really made that happen. But you go back to the forefathers that started that, and I can remember Gene Rogers years ago when they made the decision to purchase the water.
The water.
Yeah.
The water deal, and I think that goes back to the early 80s.
Yeah,
The Midlothian has, this is what surprised me. You come on staff and you talk to the city manager. We're in good shape for water all the way up to 2050
Yeah.
and beyond.
and people don't realize
And that
what big a deal that is.
And that was a decision made back in the 80s, and
Right.
it wasn't popular.
But no, it was
It was
not.
but that got us Google, amongst
Right.
other things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. And they had they knew the vision. They needed the water. They had no vision that someday it would be,
Yeah.
Google. Give me a
Google.
break, right?
Yeah.
But well, Richard, I appreciate you being with us today, man. Hopefully, people are going to understand that Midlothian and Ellis County is a great place to be.
Yeah.
That we got good leadership here. I think you got a really interesting council that you work with. I like them all, so let's make that clear. But I do think that it's I think people. So just real briefly, from the standpoint of being a mayor, and you've got several council members, right? So you and I both have owned businesses for years, right?
Yeah.
And we have had employees, and I tell my employees, this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to do it. Well, now you're mayor, and so your council doesn't quite work.
No,
like
it
that.
doesn't work that way.
So how much influence over the council do you really believe? I mean, do you even get to vote?
I get a vote.
Okay,
I'm
all
one
right.
of 7 votes.
Okay.
And I vote every time. I'm
Okay.
one of 7, and of course it takes 4 to pass something.
Right.
Occasionally we'll have a super majority.
Right.
That will require 6,
Right.
unfortunately. Influence. Well, there is a certain amount of influence being mayor, but you have 6 council members that are of strong mind.
Yeah,
Let's
I know.
see,
I know 4 or 5 of them really well.
We've got a somebody in his late 20s.
Right, yeah.
We got a 30-year-old.
Yeah.
We have a 40-year-old.
Right.
We have a 50-year-old, a
Right.
70, and an 80-year-old council.
Yeah,
So
that crazy?
so we have, and what is it? I believe 4 or 5 of them, 4 of them have deep roots.
Oh yeah,
In
yeah.
the city.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And
yeah.
they grew up here.
Right. Yeah.
I've been here since '96.
Right.
And Walter has been here 3 or 4 years.
Right,
And,
yeah.
and he's
He's
our
the new
token.
guy.
He's the new guy.
Yeah, we know
So and let's see, I own a business.
Yeah.
Ted runs a business.
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah.
Walter owns a business. Wayne was the fire chief at DFW Airport.
Oh, yeah. I
Huge
remember that.
thing.
Yeah.
We have a pastor. We have a police officer, and Clark is an entrepreneur.
Yeah, yeah.
He
dabbles in real
dabbled,
estate
yeah,
and
ranching
cattle
and
yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
we have a very widespread background and different perspectives.
Outstanding.
But we all have we think we want to do what's best for Midlothian.
Yeah.
That's what brings
You know,
us
and
down.
you know, and you know me because you've got phone calls from me before. You know,
Well,
I watch it.
Kit and I, we've known each other for almost since day one.
Yeah, probably,
So I've known
yeah.
you about 25 years.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, and you know, and you know, the thing about it is that you know, the only time you ever get a phone call from me is when when there's really something crazy going on. You know,
Yeah.
most of the time you guys, not most of the time, all the time you guys have it under control, know what to do. Just every once in a while, I get a little scuttlebutt. I need to hear what you have to say.
And that's true. And you speak your mind, and I appreciate that.
Well, you know, but again, so the whole concept of this idea of this podcast that we're doing is about real estate, right?
Yep.
And you know, 99.9% of the time, if I pick the phone, it's going to have something to do that has to do with real
estate.
property in Ellis County, right? You know, I try to stay in my lane, you know, I really do, and I want this podcast to be something that stays in its lane, you know, and so, but I also want people to know who are the influencers on this. You know, you guys are making decisions every day when things come up to the council about what is going to affect my property, what's going to affect the value of my property, what's going to affect the taxes of my property, and those kind of things. And so I think it's important that people know you guys and know who you are. You know?
And we're all approachable.
Absolutely,
The whole council.
Yeah, that's something that I, you know, when I hear people out there, you know, saying stuff and like, well, why would they do that? You know, my answer always back to them is, did you call them and ask them?
Ask them.
Yeah, I mean, because I know there's some times where everybody gets together and says, well, you're going to be the one that calls Kent back, but you know, which is okay, you know, but the reality of it is I always get the call back, right?
You know, I've never had a bad experience. You have
That's good.
people who have different points of view and
Sure.
sometimes with passion.
Right.
But in the final analysis, no.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Our community gets along well with staff at all levels. You know.
Yeah, you know, and I honestly believe that you guys pay attention to what the property owner needs. You
We
know?
try.
You know, I can remember having conversations when they were looking to bring in the International Property Code and different things like that, which I know we're getting way off that. We're not going to go into that thing, but it, you know, but there's craziness there, and in that position, the council's always been open to listen to the property owner and go, why yes or why no?
Yeah.
You know, and we've always come to agreement, you know, as a community of what we should do. And, you know, and we're not over-regulated. We're not, you know, that's really a thing that, you know, I get it. Everybody has a homeowners association. That'll be a whole nother podcast. But, you know, but as a city, we're not really over-regulated.
We try not to.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
balance property rights,
Yeah.
property owners' rights,
Right.
and developers, and the city, and the community, because it all impacts each other.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And-
So tell me this. So just kind of to wrap this thing up, a couple things from a property standpoint or a real property owner standpoint. So off the top of your head, you may not know the exact answer, but so how many new build permits do you think we've given out in the last 12 months?
Oh, 1,200.
1,200,
About 1,000.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and it's starting to creep up. We grow at 7% a year. We
Okay.
double every 10 years.
right.
But that's going to be a little bit quicker pace.
Yeah.
And so,
Interesting.
yeah, we're running that 1,000 range of residential property.
Right. Yeah. So you know, to me, so that's an interesting thing. So if we're going to do 1,000 units a year, you know, that puts 1,000 rooftops in, which brings in 1,000 more. You know.
About 2,500, 3,000 people.
Yeah.
Depends on what multiplier you want.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So that just tells you that, you know, we're growing, but we're not a rocket ship that's going to the moon. I mean, it's growing, but it's not so fast that it's not controllable.
Hopefully not, and we have several developments. There's about 4 or 5 developments been approved, and they're going to start breaking ground.
Right.
So there's a few houses out there.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's-
that's good. We're
Well,
healthy.
Yeah.
And the economics of the city is we got a, was it a double A rated? I can't, it was not a
Nice.
plus, it's the second one down.
Right.
So our bonds are cheap.
Right.
Yeah, so we're rated well financially. We have a great staff, city manager and all, so.
Right. Well, that's what it takes to run a good city. And
Yeah.
Richard, I just once again I want to just to tell you how much I appreciate what you do.
We can.
Yeah.
I appreciate our friendship.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
with that, let's have a great day.
Okay. Hi, I'm Richard Reno. My wife and I are property owners. In the front is 116 North 8th Street. Technically, it's 117 Plaza Road or something like that. The Woodrow's, it used to be a coffee shop. Now it's an event. It's available for events, birthdays, weddings, anniversaries. We've had homeowners associations come out here and meet. So if you have a meeting you want property, this is Woodrow's here. We also have a side conference room if you want to bring into there. So there'll be a phone number posted on the bottom, and give probably my wife a call, Tammy Reno, and we'll be glad to book you in.